Sallallahu alayhi wasallam was here today, watching all the brothers and sisters divided on the sunnah he gave. He be screaming out to the ummah of this world, saying you're to blame. Return to the guidance of Allah that will set you free. Set you free.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين نبينا محمد صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم تسليما كثيرا. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Welcome to this episode. As you know that in this series we are discussing the concept of state in Al-Islam and what Islam says about establishing a state. In the previous episode, we confirmed that Islam covers all aspects of our life, and Islam is not limited to a certain aspect. And we said that Allah Jalla wa Ala says, وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ. We have created jinn and ins for nothing but to worship me. So it is impossible that Allah Jalla wa Ala wants from us very few moments that we spend in the masjid, or very few moments that we spend when we fast 1 month in 12 months. It is impossible. Yes, Allah Jalla wa Ala wants all Muslims, all people, all humanity to worship Him in every single minute in their life or from their life. Now, in this episode, we would like to confirm that the concept of sovereignty is a very important concept in Islam, and we would like to confirm that sovereignty belongs to Allah Jalla wa Ala. Many people think that sovereignty does not belong to Allah Jalla wa Ala, and people are allowed to govern themselves as they want. No. In the Quran, we see, for example, when Yusuf alayhi salam was addressing his mates in prison, ما تعبدون من دونه إلا أسماء سميتموها أنتم وآباؤكم ما نزل الله بها من سلطان. What? إن الحكم إلا لله أمر ألا تعبدوا إلا إياه. Subhanallah, I would like to appeal to our brothers and sisters to read this ayah carefully. In this ayah, Yusuf alayhi salam, the prophet, he confirms to his people that hukum means what? Legislative power or legislation belongs to Allah Jalla wa Ala. Allah Jalla wa Ala is the only legislator. And this was also mentioned in a number of ayat in Al-Quran, that al-hukum belongs to Allah Jalla wa Ala. Legislation belongs to Allah Jalla wa Ala. And you can say that this means as well that sovereignty belongs to Allah Jalla wa Ala. So, from an Islamic perspective, everything belongs to Allah Jalla wa Ala. And this leads us to the other discussion. If we are discussing this, then we can confirm that this concept that many people quote and many people use, and they have taken it from Christianity, which is render to Caesar, or render unto Caesar everything that belongs to him, and render unto God that what belongs to him. No, we do not have a differentiation between what belongs to Caesar and what belongs to Allah, because everything belongs to Allah. We cannot say render unto Caesar that what belongs to Caesar. No, everything belongs to Allah Jalla wa Ala. As you know that this statement that can be found in Gospel of Matthew, attributed to Jesus or Isa alayhi salam, when he gave an answer to the Jews when they asked him about paying taxes to Caesar. As you know that Jews were subjugated by Caesar at that time. So they said, shall we pay the taxes to Caesar? Now, if this is what they mentioned, they said that if Jesus were to say, don't pay to Caesar the taxes, then they will say, or Caesar himself will prosecute Jesus. But if he says, pay to Caesar, it means that, pay the taxes to Caesar, it means that Jesus admits the governance of Caesar over the Jews, and Jesus does not approve the governance of Caesar over the Jews. So they said that the response of Jesus or Isa alayhi salam is this statement: render unto Caesar everything that belongs to him, or whatever belongs to Caesar. Render unto render unto God that which God's. No, everything belongs to Allah Jalla wa Ala. And that's why Allah Jalla wa Ala is the only legislator. And this is confirmed by all Muslim scholars. And Allah Jalla wa Ala is the sovereign. And there is no concept of separation between between Islam and the state. This separation is an alien to Islam, is an alien concept to Islam. This concept has been taken maybe from Christianity or from maybe secular system, that there is a separation between Islam and the state. Why? Because they say that the state cannot be a theocratic state. And they have this discussion. Does Islam aim for a theocratic state, or does Islam aim for a civil state? And we say neither this nor that. Because if we accept the concept of theocratic state, then we are putting ourselves in the square of Christians. We are putting ourselves in their framework. And Islam has its own framework. We do not have the concept of theocratic state. We have a state that is a civil state, but the guidelines of those states are taken from Allah Jalla wa Ala. And Allah Jalla wa Ala is the legislator of that state. The theocratic state, according to Christianity, does not allow other than those who believe in the belief of that state to live under the jurisdiction of that state. The theocratic state is a very hostile state against those who do not share the same belief. The theocratic state is a state that is controlled by the clergy. The Islamic State is none of those. The Islamic State allows those who do not share the same belief of the Islamic State to live under the jurisdiction of the Islamic State, such as the people of the book. The Islamic State, sovereignty does not belong to the clergy. Sovereignty belongs to Allah Jalla wa Ala. And that's why this discussion, that is related to does Islam aim for a theocratic state or an civil state, it should not be answered, because the question itself is wrong. Whatever answer we give, it means that we approve the premise of the person who is asking the question, and we do not believe in this. And that's why we need to understand, what do we mean by civil state? Do we mean that a state that has no, or that does not take any legislation from Allah? That is impossible. Any state in the world, even secular states, have certain guidelines to govern how people worship. Either people worship Allah Jalla wa Ala, the believers, or people worship other idols. So the state has certain guidelines to govern how people worship. So you cannot have that separation, the complete separation. Moreover, every state has its own belief. Maybe the belief is not a religion, that is something else. That is something else. But every state has an ideology. And that state likes to see its ideology prevalent, dominant. Every state likes to see its ideology being endorsed by all citizens of her, all citizens in that state. Hence, when Islam likes to see all Muslims or all subjects of the Islamic State sharing certain beliefs, this is not something strange. So, the concept of civil state in Islam is an acceptable concept, provided that we define what we want by civil state. And that's why we say that this dichotomy between theocratic state and civil state does not exist from an Islamic perspective. Now, when they say that an Islamic state should be ruled by Sharia, and there might be people who do not like Sharia, we say that Sharia is not my law, is not your law. It is the law of Allah Jalla wa Ala. So under the Islamic State, people are not the legislators. Sovereignty does not belong to people. My dear respected brothers and sisters, what is better for human beings? To let other human beings, other creation, to legislate for them, or to let a neutral entity that knows everything, that is above everything, that is not biased, either to those people or to the other people, to govern? Which one is better? And as we always say, that Allah Jalla wa Ala says in the Quran, أَلَا لَهُ الْخَلْقُ وَالْأَمْرُ. This is a very profound Quranic statement. Khalq belongs to Allah. Allah is the creator. As Allah is the creator, He is the best one to give amr, to give legislation. I am using my laptop. My laptop is manufactured by, let us say, Sony. Can I refer to IBM manual? Sony will be the best manual for Sony. The manual that Allah revealed will be the best manual for His creation. See you in the next episode. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam was here today, watching all the brothers and sisters divided on the sunnah he gave. He be screaming out to the ummah of this world, saying you're to blame. Return to the guidance of Allah that will set you free.